Oh, man, I had to take notes. Give it a few more moments. See if we get some people. No, not. That's fine. I really just try to put this stuff out there. Alright, I'm about ready to start. So, if you're in the live, welcome to the live. Feel free to comment down below. And if you're catching this after the live has already been posted, thank you for sliding through. I hope you get what you need from this video, and just let me know if you did in the comment section. I like to talk to y'all. And if you enjoyed this content today, just don't forget to actually subscribe. Just become part of the tribe, because I feel like it helps everybody out when we have people to talk to about this type of stuff. Because it's just nice to know that there's other people to talk to about everything. Look at this. Aw. Hey, YMA, welcome. Welcome to the live. Y'all, I might not be paying attention as much because I feel like it's just so much stuff I want to share. Jamal 12. Hey Jamal, welcome to the live. Thank you for popping in. Hey. Hey, who is that? I got Wilson. Welcome, Wilson. Ocean Thoughts. Isaac. Hey. It's nice to see y'all in here too. Thank y'all for sliding through. Like I was saying earlier, if y'all want to subscribe, check out more, just become part of the tribe, because the type of stuff we talk about on this channel is just really nice to have other people to link up with and actually talk to about this stuff. Okay, what's up, Kino from Cape Town, South Africa, right? Yeah. Yeah, I hear a lot of good things about South Africa. I can't wait to go over there. Pradeep from India, hello. And let's see. Hey, no, I am not. um, it's dark purple. Same, mine's too. Okay. Hey, Alejandro. Thank you guys for coming into the live. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and go ahead and kick this off. So, I feel like it's so much I kind of want to talk about on this, and it's a little weird because I'm not used to having anybody to really share these types of thoughts with. And that's another reason why I started posting what I post on my channel. Because, hey, from France, Nexus. Hey, bonjour. Thank you for coming through. So, I don't really have nobody else to really like talk to about this type of thing. So it's nice to actually build that type of community and, be able to hold those conversations. Yes. Heck no. I don't know what y'all talking about. So, I'm gonna get into what I really want to talk about. So, the reason why I call this like the truth of the matter is because whatever took place, um, it's basically kind of like dwindling everybody's like frequency, like down, and people don't really understand the type of blessings and gifts we already got. And like, for starters, like, truth of the matter is that we can actually shift our reality. So I know some people probably think about things where it's like, it sounds a little corny when they're like, if you change your mind, you change your reality. But at the same time, it's like, do you really? Some things are just easier said than done. And so taking off from the last live when we were talking, like if you actually be able to work through your healing and be able to heal your chakras and things of that nature, then who is it? Thumbo? Hey. So yeah. Thank you guys for joining the live. So yeah. So shifting your inner world would actually be able to change like everything that's literally going around. And at this point in my life, I actually know like this to be a fact. So like when I started changing how I actually perceived certain things, and when I started changing just basically what type of frequency I was on, you basically have to shift yourself. It's kind of like tuning like a radio. So if you're on like one radio station and all you're getting is country music, but you don't feel like listening to country music, obviously you have to shift to a different radio station in order to get you have to shift frequencies in order to get or hear what you're actually trying to, um, adhere to. So for instance, like in your life, like if you're constantly like struggling, or if you're constantly sad, or you feel like you're stuck in a cycle and things of that nature, it could be external forces that are influencing that. But at the end of the day, nothing has that much power over you unless you allow it to happen. So you literally have to, it's gonna feel weird at first. I'm not even gonna cap. Like for me, it was very weird. Like, at first you kind of say it, but you don't really believe it on the inside. But the more you probably start practicing with like some smaller things, and then you'll start to see them come to fruition. Like, okay, like manifestation, you could be like, all right, I want to manifest that, I want to be like for me, for instance, I wanted to manifest getting my own washer and dryer, but I was like, I needed to not cost me that much because I got other stuff to handle. And I manifested it. I did like the 369 method, and then I put that away, and I literally forgot all about it until like well after the fact, and I had already acquired said things, right? But then when I thought back on it, I'm like, wait a minute, I literally did acquire that for free, or basically no extra money. So like when I was house shopping and stuff, then I found the home. They had like a brand new washer and dryer inside, and I asked them could I keep it, and they were just like, yeah. And so that's one of the ways that manifestation can play out. Sometimes it doesn't come out in the ways that you would expect it to actually come out. So let me see what y'all got going, chat. Hey Sam, thank you for coming into the live. If you are asking a question like, why are we here in this life? Why do we die? What will happen to us after death? Try to know about Islam. Um, Look, I'm open to any and everybody's like, if that's the practice that actually resonates with you, and you actually feel more connected to spirit, and you feel like you actually are thriving, within that, then like Godspeed, like you doing that. Because my introduction into spirituality was actually through Christianity, Baptist, because I'm from the South. So that's our common practice. But in that, I started having like a lot more spiritual awakenings and things of that nature. And I started seeing some stuff about like just the church in general. And then even though I was still claiming to be Christian even thereafter, my brother actually opened me up to realizing like, no, there's actually more to the story than what we were actually just shown and taught. But yeah, but if Islam is working for you, honey, and it's doing what it needs to do, then keep on. More power to you. Like I have no problem with people practicing Islam. But yeah, but whether you practice Islam, Christianity, Buddhism, it doesn't really matter with this one, because at the end of the day, everybody is still, of course, is animated by a spirit. And all of this is literally coming through your actual spirit. So that's where I'm coming from with like the reality shift. So, but yeah, but getting back to the matter at hand about shifting your frequency. So that's why you had to go inside and do the inner work, and that's why we have to go inside and actually really work on ourselves and shift our mindsets and our frequencies to actually being where we want it to be at, because that is the only way you're tuned to the actual things that you actually want to tap into. So if you're trying to tap into money, you need to tap into that frequency. If you're trying to tap into something that's um so to speak, like, into happiness, things of that nature. You actually have to gear yourself up and to tap into that frequency. You need to block ocean thoughts out your conversation. Okay. I wasn't really reading the comments right now, y'all. I was just actually just going off of it. Okay. But yeah. Yeah, I'm not really worried about them right now. I'm just focused on getting the message across. I can handle that later. And if they're not here for, what's being shared, they know where the exit button is. I know I probably got to get a mod in my chat. But yeah, I got to see if I got somebody in the tribe that, try to slide through as often as they can so that way they can be my mod. So maybe in like the next live or two, I'll probably see who I can make a mod and they'll be able to handle that. But back to the matter at hand. So in order for you to actually start shifting your reality as well, you got to be careful about what you consume. What you consume is a lot more than just food. Going to your music, what type of people do you hang around? How do they carry themselves? The type of people that you sleep with, all of that. You really need to check the energy of any and everything that you engage in. And I really do mean that. So if it's pushing out an energy or a frequency that you know that you don't want to be a part of, then it's gonna be time for you to cut that cord and that connection to that, so that way you can switch over to a frequency that actually resonates with you. Another way for you to actually resonate on that frequency, even if you're like, okay, I never experienced this, I don't know what it feels like. That's fine. Even if you don't know what it feels like, if you can try to imagine it, this is one way that you can manifest as well. When you imagine it, if you can harness that feeling that you can feel inside, and if you feel like the deep sense of happiness within it, you feel that, you take it in, and then you let it flow and you let it go. Once you do that, you let it flow and you let it go. You don't like think about it like obsessively and things of that nature, because that tries to let the universe know like you're desperate. And I'm sure y'all could probably speak on this, but nobody likes a desperate energy. I was sources that was my experiment on loud that somebody will stop or not. It's good people are here. Oh, okay, okay. All right then. Well, thank you, Ocean Thoughts, for making that clear. But yeah, so even when you get into that frequency, that's how you start feeling that shift. And then also when you're shifting, hey Aston, thank you for popping into the live. So even when you feel that shift coming on, like you'll start seeing things around you begin to change. Like probably certain people on that previous frequency that you were on, like you no longer resonate with them, or you know that you can't really move forward with them in your life in that type of vibration like anymore. It's not necessarily meaning that you have hard feelings, but everybody here has their own journey. And because everybody here has their own journey, you can't take everybody with you who's not really trying to be on that frequency. Like your journey is your journey, another person's their journey. Like you don't own anybody. So that still goes back to what you're consuming. So if you know you're hanging around a type of person that's engaging in activities that you know ain't doing nothing but bring your frequency down, or it's putting you on like a radio station you're not really trying to be on, then it's time for you to start dissociating. Pow pow, hello from Italy. Hey, hey from Italy. I got people from across the world. I love this. Thank you guys for coming through. Here you go. That's true. Once you start operating on a higher frequency, everything and everyone that's on a lower frequency will fall off. Exactly. And sometimes it's not even anything that you guys necessarily said or did. You just kind of realize like it's kind of like putting a positive and a positive together. You start feeling it kind of bounce off each other. It's like you guys don't have that connection anymore. We look like twins, or is that just me? Oh, I mean, we probably do. I can't really see your profile picture because I'm on my phone. But I'll probably check out your page later on and see. Let me find out. I got a look alike over there in Italy. Cool. So, Back to the things that you will also probably start feeling as you're also raising your vibration and you're growing frequent. Like this is something I've been experiencing a lot right now. Like I've been experiencing a lot of headaches. And I know sometimes that can happen, especially if you're getting a lot more spiritual downloads, or in other words, that's like more intuitive thoughts. Salam. Hello. So, I'm sorry, but I don't want to listen now. I'm not even gonna set you up. I want to try it though. Salt Murad. Let me know if I said that correctly. I tried my best. But I meant that with all the respect in the world. So yeah, so like for me, I've been getting a lot of headaches, and I know sometimes, especially when it comes to like spiritual gifts and intuition in your third eye, like you can kind of feel like at the forefront of your head. That's what I've been experiencing as of late. Um, Other frequencies that you might feel, you probably like, get a gut feeling, or you might start experiencing like ringing in your ears. And if you know you're not the type of person that usually has ringing in your ears, or if like let's say you're talking about something or you thought about something that you was probably wondering like, hey, does this resonate, or is this something I should actually do, and you start getting that ringing in your ears, sometimes you can take that as like confirmation. It's just like or even seeing synchronicities on the clock. Like I've been seeing them like crazy, like 333. What else been popping up for me as like 666 is weird too. Well, it's not weird, but it's been popping up. You know, and like 1111 and stuff like that. Now I remember 1111 because when I first started really getting in tune with everything, and then I started just looking up. It'd be the randomest moments. Like I just look up, just so happen to see it, right? And then I'd realize I'm like, I am going through a shift. I am going through some sort of like portal, because I'm changing. I'm going into a different energy. I'm going into a different frequency. And with me going to that frequency, like it led me to a frequency like I started making more money than I ever had before. I landed a career job. I got my own like apartment space. Like it was nice. Like it started out, it was everything was like pretty much real decent. I was manifesting stuff without even realizing that I was manifesting stuff. But that's just something that I experienced. But I'm just sharing it with you. Hey Samir, thank you. Welcome to the live. And so I was just touching on that because I feel like it's just so much going on. And I wonder if I can. I'm gonna find out a way to share it on here because there's a video I want to watch with you guys in a bit too. But yeah, you can literally shift your reality. So like as we always say, I know especially in the South, or even if you probably practice a certain subsect of Christianity, we'll tell you very often like the power is in the tongue. Like whatever you speak, whether you speaking it upon yourself, upon your reality, or upon somebody else, it has a lot of power. So that's why you need to be careful, one, what you saying to other people and how you talking to folks too. Because you don't know what type of spiritual team they got. That's one. First, well, no, that's not number one. Number one, you shouldn't be talking to nobody like that. No way. That's what your mama should have taught you, period. Or your daddy or whoever raised you. You should know better. That's on period. But following up behind that, part two, you don't know what type of protections that person has on them. You don't know who they got protecting them on the other side. You don't know who's praying for them still here in the real world. You don't know if they still got their grandmama praying for them on the other side, like protect my grandbaby from any and all evil, make her enemy stay footstool, whatever. So you better watch you talking crazy. Check that at the door. So that's why I always try to meet people with kindness, because also, and even behind that, you don't know what people got going on and you don't know what they're going through. Even if it's not what's protecting them, you also don't know what type of energies they are carrying with them. So like there was somebody else I was listening to their experience. They had a friend, and that friend like they was fooling around with somebody or whatever may have you. But anyway, that person, they had a type of spirit or entity on them that made them I'm trying to find a better word. But basically kind of like psychotic in a way. Like whatever type of demonic energy they had on them, they had that spirit of like, homicidal, or they like to take people out. And I ain't talking about to dinner. So with that being said, like because they like to take people out to dinner and stuff like that, that comes with its own frequency, its own energy. Hey, about to get off break, get back to work. I enjoyed everything I've heard so far. I'll finish the video later and want to chat. Okay, thank you for sliding through. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day at work. So, um, so like I was saying, like you need to be careful because somebody could be carrying that type of energy on them, and then if you come at somebody like sideways and you know you're being disrespectful, and that could turn into an altercation that you literally could have just not have been a part of, and your life could literally change just like that, all because you chose to come at somebody sideways instead of with kindness. It's just it's like this stuff. I just feel like this stuff is just so it's so deep, and then it's like it be the simplest things that are actually a lot deeper. The more you sit with it, and the more you really take it in to really understand that lesson at its depths, it goes very deep. So that's just one thing, like, I was just noticing. But yeah, but you can use all of that to actually shift your frequency, make a different choice, you know. And then even when you start tapping into that frequency, you're going to start realizing that you're making different choices just intuitively. If you know, like, dang, I usually go to Starbucks every morning and buy like this $15 like coffee that's like 2 ounces, you know. But now I don't feel like I should support them anymore. I mean, I might get a little coffee like here and there, but maybe I'll go somewhere else. Maybe I'll go somewhere that's family owned or something of that nature. You start shifting that, and then you realize, okay, now I'm saving a lot more money. Hey, Prakash, thank you for hopping in the live. You realize, like, okay, now you're starting to actually save more money. 1111 confirmation on it's on live as I speak right now. So yeah, you just start realizing it, like, you just naturally start making different decisions. Hey, Banana, thank you for coming in. So another thing too, and I don't know if you all have been seeing this, but they have been talking about, like, at this point right now they're saying Earth is actually spinning faster. Like, I don't know if y'all have seen that. Like, have y'all been looking into that? Because I'm actually wanting to play the video, but I don't know how to add it onto the screen. I'm probably just gonna play it off of something. So give me 1 second. But yeah, but I'm gonna see if I can play this off the screen. I'm gonna go get some, see if I can play it. Okay. Hey Trex, thank you for jumping into the live. I'm actually about to play this video real quick. I can't um I can't share the screen off my phone, so, or at least I don't think I can. But yeah, I wanted to watch this video with you guys and basically kind of like we kind of can watch and react to it together. So we gonna see. And now I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I'm a big nerd. Like, I love science and stuff like that. So I do follow like Star Talk and stuff like that. And that was like one of my first loves is actually science. So hold on, let me go ahead and click the video real quick. Knock knock. Hi there. And once YouTube start trying to upsell to me. Okay. Earth to rotate once on its axis. See if y'all can see it. About a day. Can y'all see it? We count up all the seconds and the minutes and the hours and the 24 hours of the day, and you get 86,000
400 seconds. If Earth were your only measure of the rotation of the Earth, how would you know if it was changing? You need some other timekeeping device that's not only more accurate but more
Oh,
precise
not
than
EA
Earth
popping up.
itself
I'm a gamer,
to
y'all,
have
so y'all
any
gotta bear with
clue
me.
if anything is changing about Earth's rotation. That began in the 1950s, where we introduced the atomic clock. Atomic clock keeps time just by vibrations within the atom, and it's unrelated to the sun, the moon, the stars, the Earth. It's keeping its own time.
Okay, so y'all notice how he just spoke on vibrations, right? And we were just talking about how vibrations are like that at an anatomical level.
And the rate at which Earth's rotation was passing time, we found a difference. And beginning in the early 1970s, we started compensating for that difference. The difference in almost all cases was that Earth was slowing down. So you accumulate a second in the slowing down of our rotation, then you throw in a leap second to compensate for it. The alternative would be to change the definition of a second so that the 86,400 seconds still fills the day. But that is a level of complication that modern society is not prepared to accept. The duration of a second is precisely defined. Add and take them away as the Earth necessary. When do we do this? Well, just by decree. It's in one or two places on the calendar, either in the last minute of December 31st of that year, so the last minute would have 61 seconds in it, or the last minute of June.
If y'all can hear it, let me know in the chat.
Where that would be given a leap second. That last minute containing 61 seconds. So, since 1972, when we had good enough atomic data, we have accumulated, last I checked, 27 leap seconds from the slowing of the rotation of the Earth. This monitoring is done monthly, weekly, daily. And you look at the accumulations in one direction or another. Earth could also speed up. We have mechanisms in place for that as well. If we speed up by a full second, then we take out a leap second in one of those two spots in the year.
Okay, so we probably gonna still finish it up, but I just kind of wanted to touch on some of those things. So listen to what he's literally saying. He's literally saying they can they have to play with time because Earth has been known to either slow down or either now it, as they're trying to say now, and it's literally being broadcasted like on multiple news networks, that Earth is currently actually speeding up. And so we're going to start noticing that we're getting shorter days. But they have mechanisms in place to try to adjust, I guess, how they already have our clocks and things like that set, because they said that the people are not ready to accept it. But did y'all ask? How do you know they're not ready to accept? Was there like a survey? Like, is this like Family Feud where they go to the Mall of America and they like top 100 people have said, like, I don't remember taking that survey saying like, would I be mad if we actually like measure time accurately? No. But now that I'm thinking about it, I know a group of people that probably would be mad, especially when you come in a capitalistic society and you want people to work 40 hours a week. And then people start asking questions like, well, you know, if we got shorter days, like, don't that mean we should get shorter work days? They're not gonna like that. They're not gonna like that because you costing them money. But anyway, I just had to touch on that and see if y'all picked up on them. No, talking about that as well. I find that fascinating because usually people would go off of, historically, you know, we would just look at the actual cosmos, you know, and we could tell approximately like what time it was based on the sun's proximity, you know, from like the horizon, and then based on whatever season it was and wherever it was coming up on the hemisphere. But you know, that's on some more stuff. But I just really want to get back into Earth starting to spin faster, because when something, I'm getting, it's still spirituality, y'all, but this is spirituality and science and physics literally go hand in hand. I really don't care what nobody say. For anybody that's like only science this, but there's no connection to spirituality, or people who think spirituality is completely disconnected from science, I don't buy nothing from those type of people. because everything that I've learned spiritually connects to everything scientifically. Everything, especially in physics, like physics, metaphysics, biology, all of it, it still all ties into spirituality because you can't have one without the other. All they all coincide. As within, as without, as above, as below. Like it's literally the same thing. Brooklyn in the building. Hey, I love New York. I love New York. My favorite place used to be Harlem, but my nephew just told me that they've been gentrifying Harlem, so I don't appreciate that. But yeah, shout out to Brooklyn. I appreciate Brooklyn sliding through. So yeah, we're gonna get back into this video and we're gonna talk some more about it.
So the last minute would have 59 seconds instead of 61 seconds. All this is happening under the hood. Your computer will know about it, but you don't have to. Because milliseconds on a day, a second every now and then added or subtracted from a calendar, really makes no difference. I'm betting you don't live your life timed to the millisecond. I'm just thinking. That's just me making assumptions about you. So, lots of things affect the rotation of the Earth. Foremost among them is the sloshing of oceanic tides on and off the continental shelves. These tides are primarily raised by the moon, and so the Earth and the moon do this kind of ballet. Where the moon raises the tides, the tidal bulge of the Earth actually speeds the moon up in its orbit, forcing it to ascend in its distance from us. So the moon is actually spiraling away from us. Not by much, a few centimeters a year.
That's
And how do you know
crazy.
that? Well, you can calculate what it would be given this dual dance that's going on. Or you can stick mirrors on the moon, beam a laser to it, time the return trip, and calculate how far away the moon is, which is exactly what we did with Apollo 11 back in 1969. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin laid down what are called corner reflectors. Light coming in from any direction.
Do y'all think they actually landed on the moon?
Exactly parallel to the direction the light came in. And so you come back to Earth, beam a laser out of your telescope, check the flash on its way back, type, and there you have
don't?
it. We confirmed that, in fact,
Yeah, I've heard some things too, and I wonder about it too. I'm gonna be quiet though. Be quiet for a second.
Much closer and much bigger in the sky. All right. Well, that's one thing that slows down the rotation of the Earth. Other things can slow it down or speed it up. For example, earthquakes.
Most people know Grammarly as a
Okay, well, why they trying to advertise to us?
It can look at whatever you're writing.
Anyway, but yeah, so I see some people like, yeah, y'all don't think that they actually probably landed on the moon either. And you know, when you think about it, when you think about it, it's kind of like, hold on. So you mean the same people who were struggling to, make sure y'all calls and stuff didn't disconnect, and the same people who couldn't, y'all can't figure out homelessness and all this stuff like that, but you can't even figure out how they managed to build the pyramids the way that they built the pyramids, not just in Egypt but all around the world, because for I don't know, it's something about the melanin or whatever it is, because it seems like no matter wherever we go, no matter what we do, we always tend to do the same stuff, even today. No matter who I talk to, if anybody got a little bit of melanin or a lot of melanin, for some reason, people we never met, we do the same stuff. I find that very interesting. So I don't think that even changed historically. But back to my point, y'all can't even figure out how they built the pyramids, but y'all figured out how to get all the way to the moon. If y'all did, that's fantastico. But I don't know. It's just like sometimes, you just gotta wonder. You be like, okay, I heard what you said, but did you really? Did you really? But yeah, I digress a little bit. But yeah, I don't know, y'all. I don't know, because after I started questioning stuff like that, I started giving them the side eye too. I'm like, really? But every other time y'all allegedly sending people up there through the stratosphere, sometimes like it can't even break through the stratosphere because it'll blow up right there and there. Like I've seen so many other space launches where it couldn't break through the stratosphere. Like if we could do that all the way back then, what's the problem now? But anyway, back to the Earth speeding up.
Shifts placement of mass on Earth's surface. You say, well, so it's still just a sphere, but no. You can picture an ice skater. They go into sort of a slow spin with their arms extended, and then they slowly bring their hands in, and they speed up. What they've done is they've brought mass of their body closer to the rotation axis. When you do that, a fundamental law of physics kicks in, the conservation of angular momentum. And so if you shrink an object, bringing your mass closer to the axis of rotation, you will speed up.
Yeah.
Conversely, if you spread the mass farther out, you will slow down. Other things, the migration of animals can affect the rotation of the Earth. Migrations typically occur north.
So at this point, he's starting to talk about what can. So we need to get to the point, but he's gonna start mentioning like everything else. So there's earthquakes. Then we gotta talk about the ice caps and things like that melting, and just talk about like what is actually going on with the spinning of the planet. So of course we know that we know if something is smaller and it's rotating, of course it's going to appear to be spinning faster than something that's actually larger. We know that. But what I have been picking up on is a lot of people talking about the shift from the 3D to the 5D, and how like I think like because of everything that's actually going on, it's actually causing a lot of people to kind of feel like these shifts, you know. So even sometimes like your average person that probably wouldn't have typically have lined up with it, like you can feel yourself being affected by it. The animals feel it. You could tell like because their mannerisms and things are different. You can tell because certain things are taking place in areas that typically it don't take place in. Of course, a lot of things probably attributed to like climate change and stuff like that. But everything that's happening in nature is also going to have an effect on you. Not necessarily just physically, but spiritually as well. And so, with the earth actually coming to being able to like spin faster and things of that nature, I'm wondering if that's his way of like gearing up to actually move into like, man, this is gonna sound very marvelous, but into like some type of separate dimension. So that's part of the reason why I really wanted to bring out the video and stuff like that. We understand, now that obviously like Earth speed can change, depending on the mass of it. And so I don't know, now it's making me wonder, like, is that just something that typically happens with a planet over time? If not enough, things are being added to it, other rock formations and things of that nature, cause it to just eventually shrink out because it keeps spinning. Who knows? But yeah, that's what I really wanted to touch on. Kind of want to skip past that and see if he actually gets to the point in some part of the video.
Who don't know which dog did it. But it's not mysterious. Not knowing something is not the same thing as something being mysterious. Not knowing what is the smoking gun that's speeding Earth up one day versus another does not make it mysterious. It means let's go.
Ivan De Niro, hey, welcome to the live. It's nice to see you in here.
Considered yet? Maybe, but unlikely, because we've been in the business of doing this for 50 years. The universe brims with mysteries, don't get me wrong. But the forces that are altering Earth's rotation are not among them. This is tracked daily. We compare the rotation of the Earth to the atomic clock daily. And we know these numbers. And they're fractions of a millisecond. Are they accumulating in one direction or another? Are they just canceling each other out from day to day? Of course, there's going to be a day in the year that has more of a shift than other days. That's how data work. You're going to make a federal case out of it? You're going to make a headline of it? Biggest shift of the year? Yeah, every year has a biggest shift. In each direction, there's a biggest shift. I think someone found out they can make clickbait out of it, and that's what we're in the middle of right now. So, rest calmly. Tonight or any other night, because the daily changes in the rotation of the Earth, first, as I said, we only really care about it when it's accumulated a second, and then we throw in or take out a leap second. But I'm pretty sure there's nothing in your life as there's nothing in my life that requires that I keep track of time to the millisecond. So just
I think
contemplate
that's a
the
great
fact
idea.
that
I think
we
that's a great stopping
are
point.
on a spinning planet in orbit around the sun, like a pirouetting.
Yeah. And it's the same concept that he was just talking about, even with the moon. So, hold on, y'all. It's getting a little spicy in here. Okay. But yeah, it's the same concept that he was talking about, even with the moon. Like, they're noticing that it's actually being pushed further and further away from the earth. You know, just a couple of milliseconds, like, milliseconds, millimeters, or whatever they're saying. But yeah, so at the end of the day, it's still that. So that's why I'm thinking it's like the spiritual side effects that it's having on people. Like, you can actually see what's going on, folks. People have been talking about this change for a couple of years now, actually. Yeah, yeah. And so for me, initially, I was kind of like 5D. I don't really know about 5D. Like, I don't know about that. I was thinking that was starting to get kind of like a little woo. But then as time went on, the more things I'm observing, and then obviously you can see the changes that are happening on Earth. You could tell that there's actually a shift in the energy. There's obviously a shift in the energy. And me leaning more towards like astrology, I know that we're about to get into this age of Aquarius, which, if anybody knows anything about Aquarian type of energy, is big on societal like groups, societal progress. Is big on technology, in which y'all are seeing like a lot of AI. I can't stop seeing AI commercials now. Like, y'all advertising different companies that are pushing AI on every little bit of thing. What's another sign of Age of Aquarius? Oh yeah, it's ruled by Uranus and Saturn. So if you know anything about Uranus, it's like quick, unconventional like change. It's very going to be something extremely creative and unique. Something that's going to be very much so new to the populace. And if you know anything about Saturn, Saturn also represents structure. So when I think about Aquarius, I'm thinking about there's going to be a change in the way something is done structurally. So maybe not that, well, it could be buildings because it can affect designs. You might see some things that might look more futuristic, or just even just something more progressive, as far as like even how the structure of groups or companies or things of that nature, like how society is basically ran. Like, it's going to be something extremely new and extremely unique, and it's going to take you completely out of the age of Pisces, where everybody was more so hung up on religion, you know, and now people are going to start shifting more toward like this AI type of society. And and it's crazy because I was just talking to my mom about this, because she was asking me about it, and I was like, I know she don't play games like that, but I just said to her, I said, this reminds me of a game that came out like all these years ago called Detroit Become Human. And it's basically a game about when they made these not cyborgs, androids, and basically the machineries and the AIs and the androids, they basically kind of like, they didn't necessarily take over the society, but they were implemented so much into society that typical jobs that people that were middle class to lower class had was basically taken away and given to them. So people had a hard time having work. So if you weren't in that top percent, like already, especially that 1%, you were pretty much like out. And eventually, like, they started developing their own consciousness and things of that nature. And so it's a choice based game. You can decide whether you trying to take over or you want to coincide or whatever may have you. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's exactly where it's going towards, especially with this age of Aquarius. I feel like AI and stuff like that, I feel like it's cool and all, but I feel like we're kind of getting a little too attached. And I feel like we're going to have to learn how to keep some type of level of detachment from it, so we don't become overly reliant upon it. Because artificial intelligence is truly only as smart as its creator, you know? So like, if you try to stay on top to where like you have more of the knowledge and things of that nature, they will be able to benefit you in that way. But Anyway, but that's going into like 5D and what I think probably coming in the future with the age of Aquarius that they say is coming forth. Which we should be already entered into now because I think Pluto already entered Aquarius, if I'm not mistaken. It should be like in the early degrees. But yeah, so back to the same thing, this touches on what we were talking about earlier, people feeling like these spiritual ascension like side effects, So have you guys been seeing like, you know, how can I say this? Like synchronicities. And it doesn't even just have to be numbers. Senedi, Senedi, am I saying that right? Bonsoir, ma belle. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you. Hey, bonjour. So, yeah, thank you. Welcome to the live. So, have you guys been like actually experiencing that yourselves? Are you seeing synchronicities? Have you been experiencing like those spiritual headaches? Um, have you actually been like tapping more into like your spiritual energy? Like, are you noticing certain things? Like, are your spiritual gifts getting heightened? If you already knew like you had spiritual gifts, are you like being more tapped into, or are you noticing a change with yours? Because I'm noticing a change with mine. I got a depressed bird with a haunting memory of a rabbit eating off her toe. Okay, I don't know about that. I don't know what's going on with the bird. I'm sorry. But but yeah, but if you guys probably have been experiencing it, like just like have you? Because I know I'm experiencing it. So yeah. Some other things you probably noticed too is waking up between 2 and 4 a.m. like just out of nowhere. And sometimes you might be able to remember your dream or you might not. But if you can remember your dream and you did wake up at that time, write that dream down. Like go write that down. Like I've been that's another thing too. I've been having a lot more lucid dreams. So like I'm starting to remember everything a lot more now. My French is not that good. Sanity, you are going ham in this chat. Um, three nice. Okay, I think I understand what you're saying, if I'm not mistaken. So okay, I think I kind of understand what you're saying. So are you saying that you've been trying to you've been having certain dreams for like 3 nights? And I don't know what the rest of them is. Look like you tried to say you corrected something. My French is not that good. I'm sorry. I wish it was. But yeah. Um, but yeah. So that we already talked about like the major relationship changes and things of that nature, and if you've been feeling like some of your spiritual gifts actually being heightened up. So another one that I did kind of want to touch on. I might touch on this in a different live because we're going on an hour now. Yeah, I might touch on that in a different live. But there was another one that I'm probably going to touch on next week, if not now, where I came across somebody, and I usually don't listen to other people's like NDE experiences because I don't know, my gut just always tell me it's like, this look like clickbait, you know, or they didn't really tap into the energy of really understanding like what they were truly experiencing when they did have that NDE. So for me, I just kind of like, man, but for some reason with this one, I was drawn in. Like something about it, I was just like, something was like, just go ahead and watch this. And I watched it and I really listened to what this person was saying. Now, some of the stuff that they were saying they experienced, I could actually like relate to because when I had my NDE, I was like, okay, I kind of experienced something similar, but he went further than I went. So some of the things I was like, I remember that happening. Other stuff was him like, sharing what he actually got to experience and do. So the biggest lesson that he said that he had got from it through his second NDE, um, I love God 7. Hey, welcome to the live. Thank you for sliding through. So yeah, one of his biggest things could explain mostly about what the channel is mostly about. So it's not really a particular niche per se, but we do talk about like various topics. So right now, I know the biggest topic is we're talking about like spiritualness and healing, and sharing our spiritual experiences and things of that nature, and just give each other advice on basically how to make it. So that's the gist of it. But there's a lot more to the channel because yeah, I know I try to talk about food. Of course, I'm talking about natural hair because I'm a black woman, and that was like a whole big thing that took place in my with my community and my people with our hair. So that's a big thing that I'd like to share on my channel as well. And yeah, so yeah, just building up a tribe. So what's my thoughts on Jesus? Oh, Jesus, that's my home. I fool with him the long way. Like I fool with the real Jesus, not the one they try to like put out there, or they try to like industrialize and like force feed to people. No, I'm talking about the real Jesus, like what the stuff he really did in the Bible for real, for real. That's the one I fool with. I don't fool with the one that they got with the lamb and they trying to say came from England or something. Like, no. I fool with the real Jesus, not the fake. Telegram, Sarif. Did I say Sarif earlier? Did I say you earlier in here, Sarif? Yes, I did. I think I said hey. I hope I said your name right. Hey, thank you guys for coming through. And thank y'all for actually being supportive. But yeah, so his biggest thing was like when he actually had his NDA experience, he basically picked up on a lot. But one of the biggest things that he picked up on is like that the way he said the simplest way he can explain it is that this life is kind of like a game. And by that, he meant that we have a lot more power in what we have going on in our lives than what we have been led to think or believe about ourselves. And he was also touching on, he was like, going back to what we were talking about earlier, having the power of the tongue. You can literally speak life into anything or anyone or even yourself. So you can literally call in what you want for real. Just make sure you be in that energy of receiving. And a lot of times, like even when I spoke on my story, even about me trying to get my own washer and dryer, but not really having just separate funding for it, I just claimed it. I don't know what Sarif talking about, but yeah, I just kind of claimed it. And sure enough, it was gifted to me. But yeah, but at the end of the day, like you have a lot more control over what's going on in your life than what we've been led to think. And so that has basically been just the whole point of this video, which is realizing like you have more control than you actually believe. And the moment that you actually start to realize that is going to be the moment where you probably start seeing like your life change in the ways that you actually wanted to change. So like if there's another power in the tongue thing too. Like even if you practice Western religions, you can always still pray. That's still power of the tongue. You still have to speak it. Sometimes there are silent prayers. Sometimes your thoughts are powerful enough to even be perceived as that, but there's still power in the tongue. So utilizing that. Um, hey Cameron, welcome to the live. So for me, my biggest thing is actually with Eastern. I practice Eastern. I do chakras. I'm more so in tune with actually practicing things that align me with my ancestors and that align with my native heritages as well, because not only do I have ancestors from Africa, I also have ancestors that hail from here as well. I also have ancestors that are native, and I would rather respect them and not just go into something just because that's what we have been indoctrinated to do, especially us as African people, you know. Hello from Italy. Hey, Federico. Thank you for coming in. Hey, Nick. Thank you guys for all the love and support. Thank you. I'm going to give y'all like a Korean heart. I like doing the Korean heart, y'all. So, yeah. Um, but instead of just doing stuff just because that's what I was told to do, actually sitting down thinking and then actually realizing what resonates most with me. So after me being in Christianity and learning about that and then realizing like it wasn't all of what I probably thought it was. Or basically, like, the knowledge I had at the time was actually extremely limited. Like, it stopped at approximately like 2,000 years. So I'm like, okay, every time I did the research, that kind of lined up with it. I'm like, it's always stopping about like 2,000 years ago, like somewhere within that area. Until my brother actually prompted me to, you know, jeez, what he said, oh yeah, the Black Madonna and Child. He told me about that, and I started looking into it. And when I say my mind was like, whoa, I'm like, why does this? I was like, why does this look like this? Where did this come from? And then I just started learning so much. And but yeah, I like to practice, stuff that's native to my people, things that were forcibly taken away from us. Thank you, Cameron. But yeah, so that's what I practice. I don't spread hate. Like, if that's what's working for you, then that's what's working for you. um this is actually working for me. I've never felt more connected with God and the nature and spirit and all those things like that. Like, I feel so connected, and I feel a lot more at peace than I did when my introduction into Christianity. Not saying, like, if that's what's working for you, that's what's working for you, but I have my multitude of reasons as to why I don't. A Blanco, hey, thank you for coming in. God is beyond knowledge ultimately. Yes, yes, of course. A lot of things can be so called like beyond our understanding, but I think it's only beyond it because when it comes to even just the concept of being creative with the lives that we have been given, I feel like there's even a limit there because a lot of times when it comes to that creativity, because God is art, God is creativity, God created all of this. If you look at everything, it's nothing but just one big canvas. And it's like, and the question from there becomes, and the challenge, how creative can you get? That's the challenge. And a lot of art is inspired based off of other art, even if it's art that you feel like Bob Ross. His art is still inspired off of other art because he's looking at the art of nature. That in itself is also creativity. So once again, everything is cyclical. Things are coming full circle. So yeah, but I guess at this point, I guess I'm kind of rambling, going in circles. But yeah, yeah, there's a lot more to life, and you don't have to be stuck in these situations that you're stuck in. And to be honest, like I was saying in the last live, the moment you start realizing, it's like you know what you're afraid of, but you need to start asking yourself, why are you afraid of this? Are you afraid? Are you afraid of something that not even here in the present day? Are you more afraid of the idea of something happening? Basically, you're more scared of the idea than the actual thing itself. And I'm not saying that in a way to kind of be like, how so to speak. I'm not saying it in a way to kind of feel like, like, oh, I just know better. Like, no, like, I had to learn and deal with that too. There's a lot of things that I'm afraid of. But then I had to realize, like, that's just fear, false evidence appearing real. It just appears like it's real, but it's really not. You're literally more afraid of an idea than you are of the actual thing. You ain't did nothing yet. Like, and so when I started looking at it like that, I was like, doesn't that sound crazy? I was like, now, don't that make you feel crazy and a little bit silly? Like, you are literally freaking out at the thought. Not the actual thing, but like the maybe. There's a lot of maybes. Literally, no, there's literally a lot of maybes. Like, this could literally go any other way as well. Are you giving all these other possibilities the same energy you're giving this one possibility? Because also what you tend to pour your energy into and what you focus on is what tends to come about sometimes. Now, it only differs when you come in like in manifestation and then you get this energy of desperation. Nothing comes to an energy of desperation. Like, how many times, like, even in the most typical thing I think about, like, is dating. Like you ask anybody, like if this person acts like they're desperate and like they're desperate to get with you, they're desperate for your number, they're desperate for everything, you're gonna kind of be like, I'm gonna clutch my little purse and slide to the side because why you acting like that? I don't feel comfortable if I come over there because there's no telling how that's gonna go. It's the same type of energy. The moment we realize all of this is just literally energy, and it wouldn't hurt to read a physics book because you could tie in a bit of science. But yeah, like all of this is like literally energy. Like the moment we start getting a hold of that and learning that energy is not created or destroyed, it's literally just transmuted, you can always shift your reality to be what exactly you want it to be. Truly. Sometimes it takes some extra help and some work because we haven't been exposed to it. We don't know what it feels like to even be in that frequency, you know. But it's not something that can't be done. So I was gonna cut you all guys, but you all right on point with this topic. When I okay, I'm sorry. You said yes. Sorry to cut you off, guys, but you are right on point with this topic. When I smoke weed, I get extreme anxiety, and sometimes I just think my heart could stop. Leave it alone. There would be signs, you know. Sometimes people don't tell you stuff straight up. Sometimes stuff will just happen, and sometimes you just gotta tap into that survival instinct and just know like I think my body telling me to leave this alone. Maybe you should leave it alone. Yeah, don't mess with that no more. I know some people do it because they feel like that's what helps with their anxiety. But and I'm not judging, I'm not knocking you or anything like that. But I'm more so gonna come in the air of like encouragement. I would encourage you to try to strengthen your own muscles on how to heal your anxiety or how to actually help calm yourself down in your anxiety. So allow yourself to feel your emotion, but don't allow yourself to stay there. You got to keep energy flowing. You have to keep the energy going. It has to cycle out. Like even if you have to imagine how like the water swirls in a toilet bowl when the stuff is going down the drain. Allow yourself to sway. Okay, yes, I can feel it. But you start noticing that it's not going to stay circular to where it keeps you in that energy. Turn your circle into a 3D or a 5D model and watch it cycle. Allow it to cycle out. And that's something that I was actually realizing in my meditation this morning because I just noticed myself when I was realizing some other fears and things that I was holding on to. I just noticed my body just starting to sway. And then I noticed that I was going in a circle, but then I noticed like it would kind of get a little heavier toward the top and then a little smaller toward the bottom, which would be less of a circle and more of a cycle to cycle something out, like a cyclone. So yeah, start exercising yourself to be able to handle your own emotions. Hey Steven, what's up? Thank you for coming into the live. In the long run, the weed messes your head up no matter what. I've smoked it for 20 years. You need to change your daily routine and get a hobby. It's essentially kind of what I'm saying. That's essentially kind of what I'm saying. And it'll kind of, and actually doing something else that actually brings you joy. So that was another thing that that person touched on too. That we were also mentioning doing things that actually put you into a happier energy. So if you can make a list, write down some things, write down one thing that you know will bring you like instant gratification. Like, what's one thing that you know will automatically make you feel good, which at the time I'm sure probably was like weed, but probably find like a healthier alternative. And then behind that, list some more things that you can actually practice that bring you joy. So, like, if you're the type to want to, thank you. Is it Giovanni or Giovante? Thank you so much. And welcome to my live. So if you find things that you actually enjoy doing, whether it's going to go do pottery. Pottery is so healing because you're literally molding and messing like with the earth. And if you know anything about like earthing and grounding yourself, Earth is really good for pulling negative energy out of you. And in pottery, not only are you probably messing with the earth and it's helping bring that out of you, you're also it's also going in a cyclical motion as well. So you're gonna feel that speed and that vibration of it, being kind of like pulled out of you. That's relaxing. Just find different tasks. Sometimes getting out, getting your blood flowing, get your blood pumping, go for a run. If you're not into that, go climbing or something. Like, it's just so many different things that you could do to try to help yourself to get out of there. But at the end of the day, do to actually make you happy. Like, tap into your inner child. Like, what did you like to do as a kid that actually made you feel happy? Were you an artist? Did you like to paint, color, draw? Like, that could really help you out to get tapped back into that energy, because really you cannot leave your inner child behind in this journey. You can't leave your inner teen, you can't leave your inner young adult. They all come with you on your journey, and they all share the lesson that they learned from that era of your life to help you ascend into your higher purpose and your higher person. So allow yourself to be there. Allow yourself to go be a kid. If you like to go jump in mud puddles in the rain, go do that. Go be a kid and see how much better you feel. It says, is it okay to be a lesbian? Because I'm a little insecure about it and I try not to talk about it. Just kidding, I'm gay. All right, Nick and the chat playing. Honestly, this is all about spirituality. So, like, whoever you connect with truly is who you connect with. So, yeah. So, yeah. Nobody minds about that. Anyway, but yeah, like, thank you guys for actually sharing y'all stories with us too, because I know when it comes to like battling addictions, it's literally just somebody trying to chase. You're literally trying to chase that emotion, but you're getting it in a form that is truly not conducive or helpful towards you, like, at all. So yeah, like, make sure y'all do that for yourself. So that was basically the gist of it. Just learning how to actually take control of your life and make sure that you can actually shift things for yourself and your sake. Did y'all have any other questions or anything for me? Yeah, because yeah, we have more power than they allow us to realize. Like, be careful about what you consume. Be careful about what news outlets y'all watch too, because everybody on the news don't tell the truth. Just because they say the news don't mean they telling y'all the truth. Like, y'all gotta be careful and pay attention and just read. Please stay educated. How can I make tomorrow my best day? Um, you. So one thing that you actually can practice is actually waking up and claiming it. So before your day even like begins, actually sit, take in your deep breath. You want to feel your diaphragm. Allow yourself to be cleared of that, and you can claim it right there, or you can claim it while you in the bathroom brushing your teeth, washing your face. You look yourself dead in the mirror. You like, you know what? Today's gonna be a great day. Like, nothing's literally gonna mess up my day. Or you can say today is my best day. However you want to do it. And if you want to claim it every day after that, so that way each day thereafter feels even better than the last, I mean, do that, because it's your life, and you can literally make this into whatever you really want it to be, if that's what you truly desire deep inside. But sometimes, like I said, you gotta tap into that frequency if you can. Have I ever been an addict? So, yes, but not in the way that you may think. Or I was, but not in the typical form. My addiction, and I didn't know I was addicted to it until I fasted from it. So, like I said, well, I don't know if I ever mentioned it here, but yeah, I'm really into anime. I still watch anime. I love anything with a great storyline. Growing up, I didn't know that I was addicted to anime until I decided, like, this is my early days when I was practicing Christianity, or the religion of Christianity, I put it like that. And we were fasting, and I was like, oh, I gotta pick something to fast from for the month. But I didn't really have any like typical vices that most people probably would have. And I was like, well, I mean, maybe I do watch a little too much anime because it got to the point where I could just watch it in Japanese and I didn't have I didn't have to have subtitles. I understood what they were saying. Yeah, I think I watched a little too much. So I was like 2 or 3 days in. When I say I was fiending, I was fiending for anime, and I was like, I'm real deal addicted to anime, and I really did not. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was something you could be addicted to. You know. So eventually, I did stick by my fast, and it worked out. But I started taking on better control of it at that point, and it really brought that to like my conscious mind, like from my subconscious to my conscious mind. I'm addicted to anime. I need to chill out. Like it shouldn't have that much hold on me to where I'm like, I gotta watch this anime. Like that type of energy. But yeah. So for me, I was able to just, make myself begin to kind of like stop. Or if I knew I was gonna, or for instance, when I engaged in my transition to veganism and I did Dr. Sebi's diet, I started with his recommendations first. Hey, is there? Am I saying your name right? Hey, welcome to the live. Morocco. Kudos to Morocco. See, I got the African people in here. Yes. Please slide through. I love seeing you guys in my live. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So, I'm sorry I just got excited because I really can't wait to go to Morocco. Like, I'm excited. But hopefully that's in the near future because yeah. But back to what I was saying. It's actually making sure that you actually have control over like what you're doing. So like I just started replacing some of the things that I knew I was used to with things that I knew would be more positive, like with the Dr. Sabi's diet. So I started coming up with recipes and ideas that could actually replace some of my favorite typical meals. So that way, if I was like, man, I really miss this meal, I could still follow that diet while also enjoying a meal that I liked, and that actually worked out for me. The concept after I became a mom, in the books they call it like the replacement method or something, whatever they call it. But it's basically like when you take something away from a child, they're not supposed to have it, but you replace it with something that's safe for them to have. It's pretty much that same concept, but you do it to yourself. So, yeah, just spinning that out with the addiction. I feel like yeah, help me answer my question, please. Oh, I'm sorry, BBB. Are you still in here? I must have missed your question. I'm sorry. I can't find your question right off. Pablo. Hey, Pablo. Yeah, Javante. Okay, let's see. Positive mindset. I turned Buddhist and it really helped. Yes. Yeah, Buddhism really helped me out too. It helped me out too. Hey, Jeremy. Thank you for coming to the live. But yeah, that's definitely helped me out, just even incorporating the practice of the Buddha and even the life lessons that Buddha learned on his journey, because there's a lot of things that we are so attached to, and it's like you're too attached. You're holding on too tightly. It's kind of like, or maybe you could say, if you can relate to this, if you've experienced this personally. So there comes a point in time sometimes with some kids, their parents have a hard time letting them go. And so, with them having a hard time letting them go, they cling on too tightly. But then they cling on so tight to the point where they end up losing them anyway, in one way or another. Because it's either, I can't stand to be around you, you're suffocating me, or something might happen, God, forbid, but I know, but you might lose them in another way. um, when you hold on to things too tightly, that energy of desperation, it repels things away from you because you're too holding on too tight. You have to learn to ascend and descend with ease. And I know I'm gonna do like an entire video about that as well. So yeah, learning how to ascend and descend with ease is all about knowing when to step into your earthly attachments You can have earthly attachments because it's gonna be, if you're on earth, if you're a spiritual being having an earthly experience or human experience at this moment in time, you have to have earthly attachments in order to be attached to earth, unless you're just gonna turn back into a spirit and go back into the ethers and be reborn again or whatever you might choose from there. So, um, yeah, at the end of the day, like you can still, um, I'm sorry, I got a little distracted. So y'all said that y'all are born addicts. Uh, it's, what do you mean by that, Steven? So, yeah, same concept. It's the same concept. Y'all do not be in the energy of desperation when you are trying to manifest or tap into the energy that you actually want to be in. Because I don't know who here likes the energy of desperation and that attracts you. I, if it does, let me know. I never seen it, but the energy of I never seen the energy of desperation actually attract anything or anyone. And we're all energy, so like you would know if you would actually be, attracted to that or not energetically. I didn't mean like drugs. I mean we all addicted to something. I mean, and you know what? That is an interesting concept. You know, because like I said earlier, like the thing that I was addicted to was something that's not even like your typical thing or what's typically put out there. People could be addicted to different things. It's whatever you feel is your crutch. You know, like I need you when you have to tell yourself I gotta have this or I feel like I need to have this. Anything you leaning on a little too much, you gotta check that. You gotta check that because that may very well be an addiction that you don't even know because you probably didn't know that that's something that could be considered an addiction. Yeah. So yep. Uh, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I got to say. Kind of ran through everything. Like I said, I had one more video I wanted to show. Um, if y'all are up for it, you know what? I'll let y'all be. If y'all up for it, we can watch the video and then we can touch on that. But it's still gonna be the same gist of what we already done hit on already. Or if y'all got some more questions, go ahead and drop them. I'll give y'all a moment to see if y'all got any questions y'all want to ask me before I go ahead and go. Cause I do need to. I need to finish editing these videos so I can start posting the rest of this series. Hey David, welcome to the live. Thank you for joining. Also, if you actually like, if you're enjoying what we're talking about, like, become part of the tribe. If you feel like this is something that's, actually helping you. Yeah. New stream. What are we talking about? The Isime family. Welcome to the live, first of all. Thank you for coming in. We were basically just talking about how we have more control over our lives than we've actually been led to believe. And on top of that, what's been going on with Earth and, how it's having its effects on everybody, how they've been affected, spiritual ascension, and if they've been noticing any synchronicities going on, or if they notice something happening with their own gifts. But yeah, just learning how to get ourselves in alignment so that way we can actually be on the frequency we're trying to be on. Because yeah, yeah, we on that type of time. So yeah. But yep, like I said, if y'all got any more questions, yeah, I'll probably give you a few more seconds. Don't see no more questions. Equal rights for all. Gosh, David, you have no idea how far up my alley that you are. Like, yeah. Are you a spiritual person? Yes, I am. Very much so. My journey kicked off with Baptist, Southern Baptist Christianity, because I'm a black woman from the Bible Belt, and that's what they push on us. And then from there, the more connected I got spiritually to God and things of that nature, I started having other experiences. Then I learned some things, and basically I got more in touch with, you know, the spiritual practices of my ancestors, the ones from Africa and the ones that are native to here. And yeah, and I've pretty much been kind of spiraling, you know, upward from there. You know, growing spiritually, I've never felt more connected to, you know, spiritually than I did whenever I started practicing those things. And a lot of it's truly intuitive. So I believe that I'm being guided by ancestors, honestly. Let's see, all for one and one for all. Are we getting into My Hero Academia? um, See, I was raised Christian, but I didn't believe in the church. You know, I actually had a friend, a best friend like that growing up. They said they never believed in it, but for me, I had an NDE, and the experience that I had during my NDE, it was something like I couldn't explain. The only thing the closest I could explain to it was what I was taught to believe, and that's what I actually thought that that was. But you know, the more I experienced, I'm thinking it was probably something more, something else. I do believe there is a power out there, but I don't believe in the believing in how the Bible was made. I can see that. I can see that, especially with Western religion. I could definitely see that. It's too many, ma'am. When the Vatican started Vaticaning, and the Council of Nicaea started counseling of Nicaeing, like it's just been, you know what, fuck it. It's been a shit show. It's been a shit show for some hundreds of years. And I can't get down with it. I don't get down with it. I'm gonna tell them the same thing I feel about Israel. Your mama should have raised y'all better, because how dare you? You don't go into nobody else's house cutting up, acting a fool. Especially when they were kind to you. Like, that makes no sense at all. Or how the church portrayed and forces us to believe it. Yep, I feel the same way. I'm big, like, so when, and I think that's probably what set me aside. Like, I was like Christian, but I wasn't like your typical Christian. I was kind of like Christian adjacent. Like, because a lot of people, they just bought into whatever they was story that was being told. Me, I was reading the Bible practically obsessively. Like, it was at a point where my ex stepfather, it would be a school night, and I wouldn't even notice how much time went by. I would be so into reading the story that was going on in that Bible to where I would be up to like 3 o'clock in the morning on the school night. He would come in because he would just got off work. He was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Reading the Bible." He looked at me like, "Girl, go to bed." And I was like, "What time is?" He said it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I was like, "Oh." I didn't know. I got wrapped up. So, but anyway, it's the cherry picking for me. You said one line out of this book, then you jump to the end and pull one line just to try to make your point come across, instead of actually talking about what actually happened in this story. Because if you actually talked about the whole thing, you would realize that's not what it was saying at all. But let's get on my soapbox. I'm still down a little bit. Appreciate you. Am I saying Bruhan Selik? Am I saying that right? Let me know. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, my parents are from West Africa. Heavy Christians. Dad reads the Bible every day. Yeah, yeah. I don't appreciate what they did to our motherland. I really don't. It grinds my gears. Sing Coco, you look fit. Give us a flex. What? This ain't that type of channel. But yeah, I've always been athletic. I've always been athletic. But thank you. Am I saying right name right? Is it Sing Coco? Too many false prophets in our world. Oh my God. The live has officially been extended for another hour. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I might not be. Definitely too many false prophets. For sure. Like, okay, I'm gonna tell you something that my cousin pretty much dropped on me, and it was something that wasn't necessarily in my conscious mind until she said it. She was like, "You can always tell who a real prophet or a real prophetess is by how they carry themselves in their daily life, and those are the type of people that's pretty much gonna always tell you the truth, ain't gonna be real with you, like dang near pretty much all the time." Like that's your real prophetess or your real prophet. Like you are the person that probably tends to say things that people don't necessarily want to hear, but they need to hear. And when she was telling me about that, and she was like, it's only because you're actually a real prophetess. Like, that's why a lot of people, even people that's related to you, got a problem with you because you're going to say something that they don't want to hear, but it's something that they actually need to hear. And you're not lying. Like, you're telling them the truth. And that's the problem with these prophets. They were trying to make a profit. Like you said, yeah, it's definitely all about the money for them. But of course, it's all about the money for them because the people that want them in that place, that's what they're going to pay them. This still stems all the way back to the Vatican and the Council of Nicaea and the Jesuit wars and all of those things that go sweeping across people's countries and stuff like that. And then the people that were in power in those areas. Yeah, I got to go get my Stanley Cup. Hold on. Because I thought I had it in here and I don't. So y'all got to give me a second. Okay, so yes, it stems back to all of them. And if they didn't threaten you, they're like, hey, look, you either gonna choose to practice this or you can die. And then it got to the point of like, okay, if you do choose to practice it, we'll make sure that we fund you, and then we're not gonna give money to the people. We're actually going to systemically cut them off from having resources, so that way, bipartisan of that, well, let me not say that other word. Let me say you're gonna be unalived, you know. And then from that point, it's still the same practice. It's rinse and repeat. It's literally rinse and repeat. Literally, I'm sorry, y'all. I feel like I just be trying to explain the same thing to like other people. Sometimes, not necessarily y'all. It's not y'all. But like sometimes when you kind of try to explain these things to other people that be around you to help them open their eyes, it's like it seems like it's so simple, but yet it's so complicated. And I'm like, well, sometimes simple things can be more complex depending on how you want to look at it. But yeah, yeah, man, like it's definitely that, man. We could have like a whole series, man. One of these days we will go. Express my thoughts. I don't mind going live with people from the tribe. I just gotta, I'm gonna scope you out. But why I made straight? I already know why I made straight. Jordan Peterson. Anyone that calls themselves a prophet is false. I mean, I can see that too. Like if you're just self-proclaimed. I know in my case, I was being told that. So that was somebody else calling me that. So, Dr. Stephen Greer's CE5 called Lord. Okay. CE5 called Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind. It will open your eyes to what's really going on. It can definitely do that. That happened to me because who knows? I probably would have just went down the stereotypical route if I didn't experience that. Apart from the LGBTQ and the two gender thing, what political views are you most cringe about, if you have any? Hate anything that strips people of their human rights. Like that's what grinds my gears. So like I've um I've always been the type to stick up for people. I've always been the type to advocate. Even if my voice shakes. I've always been that type. Yeah, I'm that type. I will speak up because I don't think that I can't stand up because silence is condolences. Like, well, not condolences. Excuse me. Silence is like acceptance. Like, even if you didn't do anything, you're still cool being done because you didn't do or say anything to actually correct it, and so ergo, you're part of the problem as well. So that's where I stand on that. So anybody that's pretty much in the wrong, y'all enacting harm or things that's unjust, we gonna have a problem. We gonna have a problem. This all started in the '60s. David, what are you referring to that started in the '60s? What you referring to? Stephen, it all started after Roswell in 1947 when the CIA was formed. You guys, and I'm not saying this because of what you. It's not this. There's no problem with what you said. Is you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. It's just that it's stuff that I have been kind of like touching on and pointing out for like years because the moment we start, it's like the why. It's like how did we get here? Why? What led to it? So like that. That's the importance of knowing your history, and that's the importance of not dismissing the past. The past is just as important as your present as well as your future. Don't obsess over either one, but you do need to be knowledgeable of it so that way you can be more informed with the way you step moving forward. And so, no, yeah, you're definitely right. Um, yeah, because yeah, they was trying to figure out how they was gonna keep control over this stuff. Cause what, yeah, we getting into the 50s and stuff like that. But people had been started doing things that we considered civil rights in this country in particular, civil rights movements. You know, they had been doing that long before Rosa Parks said on the bus. Actually, there was another woman. I think I might be mistaken the year. I think it was 1931 or 1943. It was one of those years. It was a lot of stuff I was reading about other people, other black folks who actually did things that they considered pivotal civil rights moments. They did them like years before the people that they actually put in the spotlight for those, but they didn't get that same national recognition. And apparently there was like a lot of it had to do with like colorism and things like that. So yeah, but yeah, but that's touching on some more stuff. Let's see, the summit. The funny thing is, every religion has the same basis. True facts. True facts. This story is lore, but it has been altered to fit different views, but they preach the same thing. Yup. Especially, and that's one of the weirdest things about Western religion, because I'm like, bro, like, y'all basically saying the same thing, but in a different font. Like, it's literally the same. Y'all ain't really said nothing too much different from one another, so why y'all beefing so hard? I don't understand. Watch the documentary, people. Tell them the documentary. Thank you for the chat. Gotta go. Thanks, David. Thank you for coming through. Science is compliance. Yes. I think I was trying to say complicit, but compliance. Yeah, that's exactly it. Hey, Love Lily. Thank you for sliding through. Please watch Dr. Stephen Greer acknowledged documentary. Okay, I look. Oh, unacknowledged. Okay. Look, I love me a good documentary now. Like, you're up my alley. Okay, well, Andrew, you know where the exit button is. All right, and love you from Algeria. Thank you, Sanetti. Thank you. Okay, you guys. Well, if y'all feel like y'all got everything y'all want to get off y'all chest, if y'all had any other questions, but I feel like my question didn't get answered. Have y'all been seeing synchronicities? Like, drop me yay, nay. Tell me what number you've been seeing. Like, I'm just trying to see if anybody else, you know, tapped in like that. Or maybe I haven't noticed. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Angelic numbers, I see them all the time. Yeah, yeah. So synchronicities, angelic numbers, all of that. Heck, synchronicities isn't even just down to just numbers. Like sometimes you could be like, every time I go here, I see this same bird right here, or everywhere I go, every time I stop, I see three birds or something. That's a synchronicity, you know. Keeping our minds open to what we're perceiving. Explain your question. Some okay, so my question is, I'm just trying to see has anybody else been noticing like synchronicities as far as like seeing synchronized numbers, so like 1111, 222, 444, or if you've been noticing that whenever you do something, like let's say if you think like a certain about something and you probably get ringing in your ears, that'll be another type of synchronicity. um this gut feeling that you might have, like every time you go around something, you do something, you think something, or um, that could be like another synchronicity. Just things like that. Off like the three knocks at 3 a.m. for Jesus, and that that too. But man, y'all might be dealing with a Lugaboo, bro. Be careful. I don't trust none of that. Shapeshifters and skinwalkers. Like I done told y'all where I'm from, bro. I done told y'all I'm from the South. So I ain't denying none of that. If I was going to see two for good luck. Yeah, magpies. Okay, two for good luck. Lay Blake, Panthori, Amia Vic, Algeria. Okay. Um, don't speak Portuguese because I think that's what you speak in. But I appreciate you sliding through. I'm gonna try to pick up on some more of this so I can talk to y'all. Okay, yes, don't know if this counts, but yep, deja vu definitely counts. So deja vu can come from your dreams. Of course, in your conscious world, if you start noticing stuff, but yeah, definitely. I remember even as a kid, like, and it was very weird. I would have dreams about certain places or people, and then it'd be like sometime after that, whether it's like days, months, years, like I would encounter it and I'd be like, wait a minute, have I been here before? So yeah, definitely that. Yeah, even with my current position, like I met my supervisor I got now and another coworker that used to be on our team, and I could swear before everything, I was like, I know y'all. I knew them. I'm like, I met y'all before. I know y'all from somewhere because they looked too familiar. But they was like, we don't know you. But I was like, but I feel like I know y'all. Very strange, very strange. But yep, that would count. Uh-oh. Let me see, because I did something. Why do we always wake up at 3 a.m.? Well, I was such, actually, it's funny. I was touched on that earlier in the live. So when you wake up between the hours of 2 a.m. and 4 a.m., that's usually like heightened spiritual hours. There are some people that would even call those witching hours, but it's really still spiritual hours. So like it's like for some reason that time it's like the veil between like our solid like conscious world and then like the other side is like thinner. And so, like, you're probably experiencing something, or if you probably just had a dream, or if you can't remember if you had a dream, sometimes you need to sit there and ask yourself, like, if you had a dream, or start telling yourself, I would like to start remembering my dreams. And you need to write down what you've experienced, or what you're feeling, or what you're thinking in that moment, because that's having a significant pull on you in the spirit world. So, yeah, get in the habit of trying to, like, keep notes of that stuff so that way you can keep track of, like, what's going on with you. Let's see. Yes, I had that in my dreams and it happened in real life. Honestly, this week, yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Who at the bell? The Three Beauties? Oh, okay. He's probably talking about what he's seen. Who I favorite charm. Oh, you think I'm charm? I hope that means you saying I'm charming. If so, thank you. And if not, we could be cool, bro. We ain't gotta be into it. Anybody else here? Be the um. I read the 3 a.m. thing is Jesus rose from the dead the third day, but the 3 a.m. is devil hour. So, let's back it up. So, once again, nothing wrong with what you said. It's just, I noticed like how ingrained like some of these ideas are, and how deeply affected we are by it, because like they would be quick to try and twist and turn something. Anything that I notice that give us power, especially people of color, they give you power, they immediately want to tell you that it's evil. Because why would they want to give you something that's going to give you power or keep you connected to the power that you've already had? So, no, it is not the devil's hour per se. Um, I mean, there could be a synchronicity to it being, Jesus rise from the dead from the third day. But my thing is with Jesus, and I'm gonna be frank with y'all. No, I don't practice nothing evil, but I am an Eastern Star. And so, from what I've learned over the years, is that I don't think, and I'm gonna really tap into that energy and see for myself. But I don't know, because sometimes I wonder. I'm like, I don't think Jesus really died. I think that he was in his 33rd, he was in the 33rd degree, which is a pretty high degree, especially if you understand like masonry. That is the energy of ascension. Like that's like spiritual ascension from that point. And I believe that maybe he chose to be like, you know what, y'all tripping. I'll catch y'all later. You know, he just slid on out of here. But all jokes aside, not for real. I really do think that he really just got to that height like spiritually. I feel like it's very akin to even what the Buddha had experienced in his on earth. You know, like when he went off, you know, and he reached his spiritual ascension and his spiritual pinnacles, you know. And at that point, you know, if you get so good at ascending and descending, and you're just like, you know what, I think I prefer to be in the spirit realm versus here, you know, you might pop the deuce, and slide on out of here, but not necessarily have been sacrificed in the way that he was sacrificed, you know. Um, yeah, man, if we start talking about that, we get into the dark parts of the Bible where I'm just gonna like, no, if y'all really start looking at some of that stuff, now that's demonic. That a human sacrifice, that's demonic. Like, come on. But yeah, but no, but back to what you're saying though. No, it's not the devil's hour, honey. I do find the concept and you know, even just the story of Jesus' death, I think it might have just been like his earthly death or just a human type of death or his ego death. You know, I just think it was just more so spiritual ascension, whether they take it literally and metaphorically. And I used to be the type to take the Bible like literally like face value. So I'm just trying to like think, you know, outside the box and thinking critically, because y'all got me thinking in here right now. So very true. I've seen some crazy stuff. I know the spirit world is real. I lived in a haunted house. What was your experience like living in that haunted house? Because the same house I was in all those years, the ones where I was like where I like got into Christianity and stuff. Even before then, so there was a time where I lived in California and I came back. So before moving to California, after California was still in the same house at that point in time. And I had like a lot of stuff happen to me in that house. I don't know if it was necessarily haunted per se. I mean, if there were spirits there, I mean, that was cool. They wasn't mean to me. If they were there, like, I'm gonna share a little. Okay, quick ghost story time. So when I was getting like really tapped in spiritually, especially when I was practicing Christianity, I could pick up on like the presence of people like more easily, and then I picked up on a presence, but there was nobody physically there, and so I tested a theory, and so I turned my radio on, and I was like, if you're in my room, turn the radio down, and it turned the radio down, and I was like, what? And so I was like, hold on. And I turned it up again and I stood by it this time. I was like, let me make sure I'm not just tripping. There's like no airwave frequencies going on. So I was next to the radio this time and I said, I'm not trying to boss you around, but do you mind turning the radio down again? And excuse me. And I watched the knob turn as the volume went down. And I was just like, so if I didn't know before, I definitely knew right then and there that ghosts are very real. I think there's a gnat in here. But yeah, I want to hear about your story. My friends are boycotting me because I want to have. Okay. I can't help you with. I mean, look, if they your friends, they're your friends. Your friends gonna be with you, period. So I think maybe they're not your friends, or they are your friends because they see something dangerous that you don't. You gotta explore that, honey. My sister and I have the same dreams. She would start with her dream, and I would tell her that. Oh, that is so cool. So, are you like really close with your sister, David? Like, emotionally close with your sister, or are y'all twins? Because I hear twins do that too. That's so cool. Yeah, reincarnation is real. I do think that reincarnation is real. I do. I believe that people can come back. Again, another story time. Y'all, my life has been very interesting. So there is mild suspicion. And I say mild because I'm making it mild, but it's probably not as mild as I'm making it. So I'm gonna be honest, they think that I might be like the reincarnation of my maternal grandma. Um, because my aunt had these portraits made of their parents right up in her home. And this happened like this was years ago when I was a kid when this happened. And so me and my sister we were visiting, and I think my mom and them came there or something. I don't remember because we had some people, some family come over in my aunt's house, and we were in the room where she had the portraits at, and me and my sister in there we were talking about something, and my little sister was like right behind me, and my grandma in her portrait she's posed and she's like posed like looking over her shoulder like this. And so when I was talking to my little sister, I turned and I just so happened to look at her like over my shoulder, like in the same way. And she was like, wait a minute, stop. And I was like, why? And she was like, hold on. She said, don't move. And she went to go grab. Oh, who did she grab? Did she grab our cousin? She grabbed our auntie. I think she grabbed our auntie, but I know auntie came in there like right after that. I think it was one or two people, but she brought them in and she was like, look. She was like, turn back around like how you was just looking. And she was like, don't she look just like grandma? And she was like, she looked, and my auntie looked at the picture and she looked at me. She was like, yeah, she do look just like mama. Yeah, that's interesting. She do look just like mama. But see, they don't really, my folks don't really talk about it outright, but I done already had my little conversation with grandma, but that's another story. Uh, like, we got gifts. It's a family thing. Um, so yeah, so the special thing about it is that with my maternal grandma, she passed away when my mom right like when my mom was two, but her death date I think if I'm not mistaken is on my uncle's birthday. My young like the youngest one in the family, so he turned one. He had just turned one. That was his birthday when she passed. And my mom shortly after that turned two. So my mom didn't really have any other recollections of her own mom except for running under her dress. And so seeing that and then having me be her daughter because it really hurt her to have missed out on having a mom because my grandpa he did the darn thing. He said ain't nobody taking my chin as my mama said he said because Mississippi, and he was like they my kid I'm gonna raise them. They had 21 kids and he raised the remaining 14 of them. So yeah, I do think reincarnation is real. I may very well be that, because yeah, how she went out was interesting. That's why some people get deja vu. Vous êtes American, yes. Oui, because I think you're speaking French. My auntie came back and walked past my mom and things used to move on there move on their own. Oh, okay, I get it. I'm misreading what you're saying, so that's my fault. Sorry, but we felt safe. It wasn't evil. Yeah, because you can tell if you're around some negative energy. So even like this, I think I touched on this in the last live where I was like, you know how you walk into a space and you can tell that people just got through talking about you negatively. Like you could feel it in the room. It's literally the same thing. Like you can tell when it's a negative any entity energy, anything. It could be human. It could come from an animal. Like you'll know if you're around an animal that's about to hurt you, because you would feel it. You would feel the energy. You could feel the energy even spiritually. Like and you could tell if you're around a spirit that means you harm, because you could feel it. So yeah, and you can feel it when it's not harmful. Like that's for example, that spirit that I had like mess with my radio. It wasn't evil. I was just freaking out like, cause I'm freaking out because I'm like stunned and amazed. I'm like, oh shit, man, this shit real. But yeah, but yeah, there are a few spirits in the house. Bless you. Thank you, David. You could feel the energy build up. Yeah, yeah, and you gotta try to keep the energy pure in that house sometimes. I don't know if y'all like watch Avatar, but It's not just on spirits. Like, you could rub off negative energy on anything, especially if your energy or whatever you're feeling is strong enough. You could definitely do that. Yeah, she a twin. Okay, that makes sense. So, do I believe in superstition? As a southern woman, I naturally believe in superstition. Yes, sir. To a degree. Some stuff, just don't make no sense. But, there are some things where, like, if you once again stop and you really stop to consider it, you're probably like, okay, maybe I need to take that. But yeah, I still practice some stuff. Make sure you sweeping your front porch. Please sweep your front porch. Sweep. If you're trying to sweep out the negative energy in the home, start from the back of your house, sweep to the front. Um, Same thing, mop from the back to the front of the house. You know, all the little stuff like that. Like not whistling at night or letting somebody sweep your feet. Yep. Yeah, don't do that. Or you gotta spit on that broom. Yep, and don't whistle at night if you don't know who you calling. Um, yeah, I'm American, honey. Stephen, you can come back to the same family. You could. I think you could. If I am very much so the reincarnation of my grandmother to some degree, like, yeah, I love people who don't believe in spirits but believe in guardian. Oh, I don't. I love people who don't believe in spirits but believe in guardian angels. It's like, but that's a spirit though. Okay. But nah, I feel you. American Boku Black Muslim. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I mean, they might have some here. I mean, I know they do. I know because they got the Nation of Islam here, and it's predominantly black. So if I'm understanding that, yeah, you are speaking French because you said Boku. Yeah. When I lived in my apartment, I saged the whole place. Of course. Anytime y'all move somewhere, please clean the space energetically. That's something I always do. First of all, I'm gonna do a deep clean anyway because I don't trust y'all. Because every apartment, I think that's the last apartment I moved before I bought my house. Um, that one was pretty alright. But every time they were like, "Oh yeah, we cleaned it," man, nasty. I mean, pulling out whatever. It was nasty. Sage your home, clean it out because you don't know what type of entities and spirits they were dealing with up in that house. Tell them folks they have got to go. If you don't have sage, use Palo Santo. If you don't have Palo Santo, use you can also use a bell. A bell is good for calling and getting rid of spirits. One is about your intention, two is about what you're saying. So, gospel music. If you are from the South, if you are from the Bible Belt, you know good and well, especially if you probably grew up like, in the last generation, like you're a millennial or older maybe. Do you remember being woken up early on Sunday morning and your mama making you get up and y'all gotta clean and she playing the gospel music really loud? Like not necessarily well, you might have some new age gospel music, but my mom she would play that actual like southern like gospel music, like the type you used to hear like in the slave churches type of gospel music, like that type of gospel music. That's that real gospel music. Um, yeah, that's good for clearing out spirits too, especially the ones that are negative spirits, and especially if you're trying to welcome in more holier blessed ones and bring in blessings. So that was something that's typical too. Um, you taught some good stuff. Really into what you believe. I sure appreciate it, Steven. Hey, I hope y'all stick around. Like, if y'all like this, I hope y'all stick around. Like, if y'all want, y'all can subscribe, be part of the tribe and stuff. And, because I'm trying to be consistent, because stability, but even if something, I'm going to try to still stay consistent, even if something does happen again. Because there's been a lot happening in my life the past 6 years, more than it, probably 10 years. Yeah, there's been a lot happening. Anyway, um, but yeah, slide through, subscribe, please, because I want to see y'all again. Come on, be part of the tribe. Let's see. Do I like burritos? Yeah. Shoot, I use this vapor word and play. Hey, look, hey, you getting into that hoodoo? Hoodoo is good for using whatever you have on hand. No, hoodoo is not evil, but our slave owners wanted us to believe that because they did not like any time we tried to have control over our own spirituality and tap back into what our ancestors was practicing, even if we had to remix it. That's how you got hoodoo. Hoodoo ain't nothing but just a remix of native heritages, and then it blended in with the Bible because that's what was forced on us. Like that's literally all hoodoo is. Hoodoo is not evil, but it also depends on the heart of the person. So, but you could say the same thing about Christianity too, because that depends on the heart of the person, and they did a lot of evil because there must have been a lot of evil hearts up in there. I hope they heal. But yeah, you can do that too. That's good for that. That's a classic. I haven't heard about that in years. Using Vicks Vapor Rub and praying. You bringing back hella memories of sadness. I know. Look, man, I ain't gonna lie. I was like, Mom, just finished getting out of school, man. Can I sleep? Cause I mean, it's also my fault too. Cause I probably stayed up late, like watching cartoons, and then when cartoons went off, like my mama had these VHS tapes of Good Times, so I would sit there and watch Good Times. Typically, like they always told me I was an old soul anyway, so that's probably why I like stuff like that. Oh, oh, Marcine, I appreciate you being part of our live. And thank you for commenting, but I really wish I could understand your comment. They don't have a built-in translation. They need to do like Red Note or Zhao. I don't know if y'all popped onto that app. That's actually my favorite social media app, even though I've been taking a break from everything. But yeah, they got a built-in translation system, so YouTube need to give it the program. Like I said, I was born in West Africa. I live in Georgia since I was 6. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You did mention that. Yeah. Did I ask you which country you're from? In West Africa, and also like how much like similarities have you noticed to like a lot of the native practices from your country in West Africa to the ones that we practice in in the South? Cause yeah, you from Georgia, so yeah, you still got some good practices up in there. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I mean, I fool with Muhammad Ali, Cameroon. Cool, cool. So yeah, it's a lot of countries in Africa I can't wait to visit. I get excited when I think about the motherland. I do because I mean I don't know. Every time I meet some people that, well, maybe it's just because they were older. That I met some people that were actually from the motherland that at university, and they were just like, we don't understand why y'all care so much about being connected to the motherland. I'm like, maybe you don't understand it because y'all weren't ripped away. So I don't know if you understand what that feeling is like, but it's for me and for a lot of people here who care. Like we're excited about being able to go over there. To be honest, a lot of similarities, but the spiritual aspect for African is huge. Yeah, yeah. And see, that's what I really want to find out too. So I really want to do the African ancestry test because I want to know. I know they only go back by 2,000 years, but I just want to know, like, I guess at least at the latest, you know, what tribes and stuff I hail from, at least maternally. Ancestors is huge. This not to forget ourselves. Yes, yes. And see, okay, so earlier in the live, I think it was before you joined Semi. I was talking about that as well. How like a lot of people, especially people who either got a little bit of melanin or a lot of melanin all around the world, we always doing the same stuff without realizing or knowing that we do the same stuff. And I say this because, and I started doing that too when I learned more about my people because I keep my ancestors around too. Um, in Latin culture, especially Mexican culture, the Day of the Dead is big for ancestor veneration. Remembering them. They keep something called an ofrenda. In Asian countries, they keep an ancestor altar as well. In all of their countries, actually. Actually, I got some friends in China right now. And they thought that I didn't keep my ancestors around. They was like, yeah, we know y'all probably don't typically practice. I'm like, nah, I do. And I was like, there's actually been a spiritual resurgence amongst a lot of the African American people, especially for like the past 10 years. So they didn't know that. So, but yeah, it's been nice talking to them. But yeah, but they did there. I know, like, of course, throughout Africa, India, they do that in India. Um, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know too much about Eastern Europe. I think they do, but I've only met one person in real life from there, and I didn't really get to know him all that well because we were in training, so we couldn't stay that long. But I think they might too. I think they might. But yeah, you definitely have to remember your ancestors in order to remember yourself. It's very important. And plus, you wouldn't want to be forgotten either. Remind me of that movie called Coco. You don't want to be forgotten. Yep, it started in Egypt. We lost our enlightenment after the flood. 12,000 years ago, we had to reset and start again. And you know what? I'm actually going to look back into that some more, but I really need to take my butt over to Egypt because I done did so much learning and research on that. When I was in university, and I already did a lot of learning and research on it. So I feel like at this point, I need to actually go over there. I think I'm starting to get tired, y'all. Oh, we in here. Yeah, 2 hours strong. Yep. So then let's go. I can't say your name. I'm sorry. Welcome to the live. That's why I like the movie Mulan. Yes. Yes, I agree. I always thought that part of the movie was cool. And I was like, man, I'm gonna do that with my ancestors, not realizing I had I had access to them like that the entire time. It's just that we weren't really taught that. But I feel like my grandmother or one of my grandparents probably would have taught me that if I would have got blessed enough to actually meet them. But yeah, but we didn't get a chance to meet our maternal grandparents. So, yep. But yeah, you guys, I sure appreciate y'all coming through. And if y'all want, please become part of the tribe because I really enjoyed today's conversation with you guys. I really did. And so, subscribe to be part of the tribe if y'all want to. Go ahead and hit the like button if y'all like the live. And yeah, I need to, man, there's a lot of stuff I need to do. Ugh. But I do need to finish editing the videos. So I'm go ahead and finish that because y'all need the rest of that chakra series for real. We left off on the second chakra, so we got to do the rest of them. And then there's some more stuff I'm gonna touch on. Definitely will be seeing me here next Sunday for another live if y'all want to come through. And um, be on the lookout because I'm gonna try to get that video out this week. I'm gonna try. I'm still trying to. I still gotta work at the same time, y'all. So bear with me. But yeah, thank y'all for coming through, and I will catch y'all later.